Screen.
What are you doing?
I'm getting you ready. There you go. All right, right back.
Okay, so we're going to get started. If people want to mute, go ahead and mute themselves so that we can, we don't get the feedbacks and stuff. I'd appreciate it. And but I want you to ask questions. If you have a question you want to ask, I want you to just, come off of mute and ask a question. I don't mind. Okay, so don't be bashful. I don't want this to be a lecture for you new people. It's not, I don't like to lecture. I just like to talk and kind of get some ideas, and we can go back and forth, okay? We thought this class, Zoom meeting, whatever you want to call it, we talk about behavior. And what I mean by that is, getting healthy, staying healthy is all about behavior. And when I say behavior, I mean the way we take care of ourselves, the way we treat ourselves, the way we look at ourselves, okay? And what we have to do is we have to be thinking about what do we want for ourselves? And we talk about the things we want, and are we willing, are we able to just tell ourselves, you know what, I'm going to do this. It's for the best, in my best interest, etc. If you think about the term behavior, we talk about kids, and we tell our kids, you have to behave. Why? Because they have to learn. They have to learn the right way. But sometimes as adults, we kind of look at a different, we kind of think, I'm an adult. It's different for me. And really it isn't when it comes to our health. And whether we're talking about our health, whether we're talking about our faith, whether we're talking about our relationships, it's all about behavior. And we can't leave ourselves out of behavior when it comes to that. And oftentimes people say, well, certain things are more important than another. My faith is more important. My marriage, my relationship is more important. But really there should be nothing more important than yourself. Because in order to take care of children, take care of in a relationship, take care of your faith, you have to take care of yourself. You can't just say this part of me is not important, but everything else is. For those of you who are into faith, we know that the Bible says that we have to look at our body as a temple. But yet, oftentimes we read the Bible and then we kind of pass over that because it doesn't resonate for some reason. And I do believe that a lot of that is because we, when we're growing up, oftentimes we weren't made to feel that we were important enough to take care of ourselves. And then other times our behavior gets caught up because we become followers when it comes to health. Okay? And people,
it's a refund.
We say, let's do this, let's do that. And everybody said, or some people say, okay, we'll just do it. Okay? Imagine doing that with your faith. Imagine doing that in your relationships. Somebody said, you know what? You don't need to go home tonight. And you say, oh, okay, whatever. Okay? So we have to get in this right behavior when it comes to taking care of our health. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but it's got to be the norm. Okay? So if we go into the, we need positive habits. We need a lifetime habits. We need positive thoughts. We need habitual habits, but it's got to come easy. It's got to come freely. It can't be a burden. The other night, a young lady who's doing a program in East Hampton, she's almost done with a 2-month, and she raves about how good she feels. But she mentioned, she says, I'm getting a little bit bored with the eating. And I said, you're getting bored. What does that mean? well, you know, I was used to having other types of food and all this stuff. And I said, you know, think of it this way. The foods you were eating before that now all of a sudden you're kind of missing are the foods that made you sick. And if we kind of think of it from that perspective, why would we miss things that made us sick? I mean, do you think maybe if you know there was somebody in your life who was toxic and just made you sick, and they were gone for a while, all of a sudden you'd say, you know what, I want them back in my life. I want them to be part of me and run me down again and be negative to me again and make me feel miserable. I don't think we do that. So we have to get that same idea for ourselves. You know, I need to be and do the things that's going to make me feel good. And so in reality, what I want to do is tell you, when it comes to health or anything else, number one, we have to commit. And commitment is hard, whether it's commitment to our faith, a commitment to our relationship, commitment to our job. It's hard, okay? But we have to commit also to ourselves. And then we have to cultivate, meaning we have to talk to other people and let them know what we're doing. We have to find the people that will support us rather than just say, I'm going to change, but I'm still going to run with the people that don't believe in being healthy, because that's never going to work. And you have to communicate your ideas with people and just communicate why you're doing what you're doing and let people know that I am important. And if I'm not important in your eyes and you can't at least see and support what I do, you don't have to do it, but you have to support it and understand that I want to take care of myself. And if you can't do that, then you have to move away from those people. And sometimes that's hard. And then you have to celebrate. And when I say celebrate, you have to celebrate your success. You have to celebrate the fact that you did something that's going to make you well and make you feel good. Because the better you feel, the better everyone around you is going to feel. The better, so we become better spouses, better friends, better employees, better employers, better everything if we take care of ourselves. And we have to understand that when we're successful and we celebrate that success, it's not final. So just like faith, just like relationships, it's an ongoing all the time thing. Okay? We can feel good. We're talking, we were a little bit ago, we were talking about Judith and feeling good. And so when she's done with her program, my goal is to keep her feeling good. Oftentimes people say, I made it through this program, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, whatever it might be, and I feel fabulous. I just, people are commending me. They're looking at me and asking me what I did and how wonderful you look, etc. And then they think it's done, but it's never done. Never. As long as you're breathing, you need to be taking care of the temple. Okay? So success is not final. Failure is not fatal. So if we make a mistake, if we slip up, if we, for lack of a better word, sin, it's not fatal. We have to just turn around and get back on that horse, and we have to move forward. Okay? So sometimes people make a mistake and they slip up, especially if they're on a program, or if they go through a period of time and they lose track. Billy said a little bit ago that he needs a swift kick in the butt, and that's sometimes what it is. If we've gotten off track, it's not fatal. And sometimes when people mess up or they get off track and they don't feel as well, they're like, what's this? What's the point? What's the sense of it? You know, I did so well and now I'm not. And then they go into a hole and they kind of cower down. And that's wrong. We're all failures at one time or another in so many things. We have to understand that. But the thing is, we have to keep moving forward. And it's all about having the courage to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself how important you are. And the best time to do it is in the morning when you look the worst. You look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are special, I love you, and I'm going to take care of you today. Because it's a day by day thing. Don't set lofty goals, okay? Understand that you have to have,
Sorry.
you have to have goals, but I don't want you to sit there and say, if you need to lose 40 pounds, that's not your goal. Your goal is today, and that's called behavior modification, okay? We have to change the undesirable behavior that's so easy to get into, to a desirable behavior. And for some people, it's hour by hour for a while, especially when you start a program or you're trying to get back on track. It can be just that meal can be a victory, okay? So oftentimes we learn things and it can be relearned. It can be changed. I always say that when I became an adult, there was no training manual. There was nothing that said, okay, you know what? You're on your own. You're out there. You're an adult, whatever that age is. Okay. Sometimes I don't think I've hit it yet, but that's me. And we have to understand and learn by experience or learn by trial and error. Lord only knows I almost lost my life because I just didn't take care of myself. Okay. I had to learn from that. And now that I understand it, how good it feels to feel good. And when I slip a little bit, I'm able to say, okay, you know what? I learned that's not working. I got to change. But before we can really get well, we have to start eliminating habits. And some of those habits are very small. They're unhealthy. Now I'm going to give you an example for me. For years, every time I would drive, I wanted to eat. It became a habit. I get behind the wheel and I want to have something to eat. And that came from being unhealthy and stopping and grabbing stuff. And even though when I became healthier, I still wanted to eat. And it was a habit. But the problem is I would be going somewhere and I'd say to myself, I just need something. And how many places can you stop along the road anywhere and get something right away that's easy to eat in the car that's healthy? It's not too many things, okay? But I had to change that habit so I didn't eat while I drive. Because for a while I tried to say, okay, I'll eat something healthy. So I might get some carrots and rather than just eat raw carrots, I'd get hummus. Well, the problem was I'd open up the hummus thing and I'd be trying to hold that in one hand and carrots in the other and dip it and eat it and drive. And, that doesn't work so well sometimes. So I just said, you know what, that's not working after I spilled hummus on my lap and, I had to go to a meeting afterwards. So what would happen is I just said, I got to change this habit and quit eating while I'm driving. But by changing that habit, I wasn't eating. And therefore, I wasn't eating extra calories just because I was driving. And for those of you who know me very well, I drive a lot. Okay. So by getting out of that habit, it really helped a lot of other things when it came to my weight, it came to my health, finances. It's expensive just to stop all the time and grab things on the fly. So it helped a lot of things by changing that habit. So behavior modification is you got a habit that's just not working for whatever reason. You got to say, what do I do to
Maybe
change
it started at 5:30.
Okay. Oh, I think Maureen got on. Hello. Okay. So here's the thing, and I got this from my church. It's last Sunday at Patty had already put this together, and the pastor did a sermon, and this happened to be part of it. And I thought, wow, this is really good. I'm glad the Lord got me to church today because it really helped me with this an idea I had. So it's kind of a snowball effect if you look at this, okay? The way you feel, your feelings create behavior, right? So when you feel sad, you feel neglected, you're going to feel a certain way. If you feel really good, it's going to create another behavior, all right? So we have to work on, number one, the way we feel, because that's going to affect how we act. It's going to affect the things we do. If you feel good about yourself, you're not going to probably gorge yourself. You're not going to, be defeated. If you feel bad about yourself, you're probably going to eat wrong, drink the wrong things, whatever it might be. And then when you think, if the way you act will address the way you think, okay? But you could also start with the thinking. The way you think creates how you feel. If you think negative about yourself, if you talk bad about yourself, how many of you have ever been upset with yourself and said something to yourself about yourself that you would never say to somebody else? Anybody? Okay? I do the same thing. There's times I talk to myself and Patty looks at me and goes, what'd you say? And I go, oh, nothing. I would just say it to myself, okay? And that's not a good thing. Because if I talk about myself and get angry with myself and tell myself I'm this or that in a negative, I'm going to feel that way. You can't change it. I can't call myself an idiot and feel, man, you're the brightest guy in the room. Doesn't work, okay? So if you think wrong, you're going to feel wrong. And then when you feel wrong, you're going to act wrong. If you act wrong, you're going to be thinking wrong. And so it doesn't matter where you start. I like to start with our thinking. What do I think about myself? And that's why I say every morning, you need to talk positive to yourself. Okay? Linda, you need to look in the mirror every morning and say, you know what, Linda? You're the best person in this place. Okay? You're the best person I'm going to come into contact with today. And I'm going to take care of you. Same with you, Georgiana. Same with you, Nancy and Maureen and the rest of you. That's what you need to do, because if you start thinking that way, other people will think the same way, because it's an aura, okay? If you are down on yourself, other people will be down on you. So think about this. It's called group mentality. If there's a group of people that are saying that thing, that object is no good, most people are going to think, you know what, you're right. You're right. That's why the news and everything gets so much attraction, because they say this and this and everybody believes it. Because it's called group mentality, all right? And we hear it enough, we see it enough, we believe it, all right? And that's the way we feel about it. So if you start thinking positive about yourself, then if I like myself, there's a greater chance that when I come to work and Patty comes to work, that she's going to see that in me, and she's not going to be down on me. And if she's not down on me, the other people that come around me probably aren't going to be. So it starts to grow, all right? But if I come to work and say, you know what, today is going to be a lousy day and you've really messed up and you're not looking good, when she walks in, she's probably going to sense that. And then those are the days when she comes in, she says, John, you look bad, okay? She says that pretty often, I hope somebody tells her to stop that, because it's really bugging me. No, just kidding, okay? All right.
Not true.
Start thinking positive about yourself. Change the way you feel about yourself. So now, when you do that, you've got to set some goals, okay? And let's talk about goals. We have to program yourself for success, and the only way you're going to do it is if you have some goals. But again, I don't want long-term goals, like I want to lose some weight. Well, you know what? I would like to win the lottery, okay? But you know what? I don't buy lottery tickets, so it's probably not going to happen. If I really wanted that, I would have to say, you know what? I'm going to buy X number of tickets for each drawing, et cetera, and set a goal for each time. So let's not say I want to lose weight. Let's not say I want to feel better. Let's not say you know, I'm going to eat better. What we have to do is we have to say, what do I want? How do I want to feel? How many hours a night do I want to sleep? Okay. So I'm going to give you another example about myself. If I eat bad, especially later in the day, I don't sleep. So what is my goal? My goal is don't eat after a certain time. And if you do eat, there are certain foods you will not eat. So like tonight when I get home and I had a breakfast and I had an instant meal during the day. So when I get home, I'm going to want something to eat. I know that. So, but I already know I'm only going to have vegetables. Only vegetables, steamed vegetables. That's it. Okay. Not even raw vegetables, because raw vegetables are harder to break down, which means my body has to work harder to break it down, which could affect my sleep. But to me, my sleep is a most important thing, because if I don't sleep very well, how am I the next day?
Grumpy.
Okay. So I don't want to be grumpy. Okay. But most of all, really, I don't care if I'm grumpy, really, to be honest with you. But I just don't want to feel bad. I don't want to be, bless you. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to halfway through the day just go, oh, it's only 1 o'clock. Are you kidding me? Okay. I don't want that feeling. So my goal to be able to feel better the next day is what I do every night when I get home and what I'm going to eat. So that's my goal. And every night that I do the right thing, that's a victory. I won that goal. And every night when I sleep well and I wake up in the morning and I go, wow, it's already 5:30 or 6 o'clock, whatever time it might be that I have to want to get up, I think I feel good. I'm proud of myself. I'm doing what I want. So the goal is short. It's right now. For those of you on a program, your goal is to get your supplements in today. Your goal is to get through that headache that you had today for those of you just started a program. That's your goal. And when you do, you feel better. So you have to visualize, what do I want? Where do I want to be right now? Okay. And that's when you're going to get that commitment and the visualization so that you can commit to yourself. Okay. So any questions so far on goals or anything like that? Anybody have anything? You can unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Stages of behavior change.
Hey, John, sorry about that. I couldn't find my unmute button.
Okay.
Is it best to set small daily goals or a combination of daily goals and long-term goals?
Well, you have long-term, in this case, long-term, what you ultimately want. Okay, so I'll use an example. When I was unhealthy, I didn't want to weigh 250 pounds. I really wanted to weigh 200 pounds. Okay, that was my goal, but I know that each day I was not going to be 200 pounds. So my goal, yes, that was my ultimate goal. But in order to reach that ultimate goal, you have to have short goals, today goals, this meal goals. You know, I know that I'm going to go out with friends and my goal is not to eat what they eat, to eat what I know is best for me. Those are the goals. They have to be short. How many people, honestly, you can raise your hand, have said, I'm going to get started on Monday. And then, but it's early in the week. But you don't get started on Monday. Okay, why? Because it was out a ways. When you want to start, you have to start now. If I'm going to start something, I'm going to start it right now. So that's my goal right now. But my ultimate goal, Kim, was to be 200 pounds. Okay. My ultimate goal when I started my business was to have multiple offices. All right. But I knew the first day I couldn't, but I had to build that one. That was my goal each and every day. So yes, you need the short-term goals are much more important than the long-term goals. Okay. I don't know if that answers that question. Stages of behavior change. First of all, pre-contemplation, okay? Pre-contemplation is basically saying you're unaware of a problem. Now, most of us know that there's a problem, but we procrastinate, we ignore it. And oftentimes people think if I just ignore it, it's going to go away. That's kind of like driving your car and you hear a noise, so you turn the radio louder, okay, so you don't hear it, all right? It's there. It's not going to go away. So we just pretend. Then the contemplation is, a light bulb comes on and says, you know what? I know there's a problem and I know I have to change. So acceptance of the problem is first and foremost. You're not going to get up to the top, to the maintenance level, until you understand you have to be aware that there's a problem. And then you have to prepare. Now, prepare can take many things. And when we talk about health, it could be you have to change your friends. You have to change the fact that you don't go out all the time and eat out, because people that eat out all the time are never going to be healthy, totally healthy. They can't be. It's just not going to work. Okay. You may have to, your preparation, you may have to go out and buy pots and pans and groceries and clean out your freezer and stuff like that. You may have to do some things to make it realistic that you can do it. Because if you have cookies in the house, how many of you are going to eat the cookies? Okay, if they're there, I'm going to eat them. Because my mind says, well, I don't want them to go to waste, so I'm going to eat them, which is really a dumb thing, but it's the way our brain works sometimes. Now, once you prepare, you have to take action. And that action is you got to say, I'm going to make that commitment to do the things I prepared. And because I prepared and because I made some changes, I'm going to follow through. And then once you get into the action phase, and again, I'd love to see a show of hands, how many of you have started to feel better and just go, this is great, okay, in many facets of your life? You just feel it. You just feel like, you know what? I'm on a roll. I'm just like butter. I'm on a roll, all right? And you just keep going better and better. It's like exercise. Once you start exercising, you want to exercise, right? Once you once I started going to church, I wanted to go to church, okay? That was the action. And then the maintenance. Maintenance goes back to success is not final. You have to maintain the work that you did. Imagine getting a job, making money, and then blowing it all and saying, well, I didn't know I had to maintain an income. I didn't know that if I spent it all, I wouldn't have anything. That'd be silly, right? But we do that with our health. We let it go. And we don't work on maintaining so that we can get the reward from all this stuff that you see here, all the things that you did to get to the top of the mountain. So those are the stages of behavior change. It's not instantaneous. You have to put your mind to it. It's a day by day. Like I said earlier, some people, in the beginning, it's hour by hour. I know that people that start a Candida program, I talked to several today and said, oh, yesterday I was craving sugar and bread. That's all I could think about. Well, now you made it through that without eating it. That's a big change. And somebody's getting feedback somewhere. Okay. All right. Okay. Any questions on that? We got a lot of quiet people today. Okay. Now, this one, I want everybody to read it and then reread it and then reread it. Change is not made without inconvenience, even from worse to better. Okay? So what does that mean? When we make changes, because we work and we get into almost a tunnel vision of the way we do things. And if those things aren't working for you when it comes to your health, especially right now, because that's what we're talking about, you have to change, and it's going to be inconvenient. Every change is inconvenient. I don't care if you move your house, you change your job, you change your relationship, It's inconvenient somewhere. And oftentimes, and for those of you who went through our Candida program, which is most of you or any of our programs, you've heard me say you will feel worse before you can feel better. Okay? And I'm telling you, it's not just a program, it's anything when you make a change, especially things you've been doing for a long time that has run you down. If you haven't had a job and you're not working, you get a job, it's inconvenient because now you got to get up, you got to get dressed, you got to get cleaned up, you got to learn what you got to do. It's inconvenient. Okay? So health is the same way. There is inconvenience. There are people who will tell you, you know what, you don't need to do that. You only live once. Enjoy life. Don't worry about it. Eat the cake, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You've seen all that stuff. Okay? But if you want to take care of yourself and you want to feel good, you can't, it's inconvenience to tell those people or change your friends. That is inconvenient. So you have to understand it that nothing is easy. Anything worthwhile is not easy, period. Those of you who've had kids and raised kids, you love them to death. You're so glad that you had them, but don't tell me there wasn't some inconvenience. All right? Don't tell me that there was times you went, what in the heck did I do? All right? It's always, and that's the way it is. So think about that for yourself and don't be afraid to be inconvenienced to make that change to get better. So we have to learn when it comes to health, we have to learn about eating. We have to eat to live. We cannot live to eat. Most unhealthy people live to eat. And that is a really bad habit. I was there. I was that guy with the spaghetti, okay? But I wouldn't have put the spaghetti on the table because I would have been eating it, okay? It might have been down my shirt or something, but not on the table because I wasn't going to give away any food. So we have to understand that the amount of food that most of us have eaten in the past, we do not need that much food. If I had $1 for over the past 21 years where people told me that I have to eat to have energy, okay, I've gotten a lot of good laughs over that because food does not give you energy, period. Nutrition gives you energy, not food. When you eat too much, you eat the wrong thing, it actually takes away your energy. It actually fatigues you because the body has to break it down, number one. Number two, you're eating food that has no nutrients. Only nutrients give you energy. So if you're eating garbage, your body is not getting the fuel, therefore you will be run down. You will be tired, okay? So we have to understand that. When we don't get the right nutrients, it leads to many things. It's called imbalances. It leads to disease, depression, physical demise of our body, as well as the mental demise. And as parents that feed them wrong, they will have many more incidences of ADD, ADHD, many other things because they're not getting the nutrients they need, which affects the brain as well as the physical well-being. So eat to live, but do not live to eat. So when people say, I can't wait for Saturday night so we can go out and eat and drink, you're not living, you are living to eat. That's it, period. So that's the first thing we have to learn when it comes to our health. The next thing is we have to choose what determines our behavior. Again, you have to pick what is best for you. What will fuel your body? Is it the apple or is it the burger? Okay, now I'm not going to tell you when you're healthy. So people on the program right now, the Candida programs, please, this does not pertain to you at this moment. I'm not going to tell you never ever have a burger. That would be silly. I'm not going to tell you never ever the rest of your life to have a dessert. That would be silly. All right? But it's got to be the treat. It's got to be the once in a while thing that you do, not all the time. And the other thing you have to do is to determine your behavior when it comes to eating. When you have the treat, that somebody has a birthday, you don't keep the leftover cake in your house. Because what happens when you keep it? You eat it. And the problem is you eat little bits at a time because it doesn't seem like it's much. It seems like it's just a little bit. And the next thing you know, that sheet cake is gone. All right. And the mice just didn't come in and eat it. It was us. So you make your choice, stick with that choice. And the longer you start eating the good food, the more you will like it. The longer you eat the bad food, the more you're going to like it. And your body's going to want it. But when you eat the bad food, you're going to feel bad. But yet your brain is saying, that's what I'm used to. That's what I like. And I want to eat it. All right. So you have to make the change. So we have to nourish the body with, and this is how we get our fuel: healthy diet, supplementation, hydration, and exercise. And understand, again, you can never, ever, ever out supplement a bad diet. You could take everything I have in this place, everything, and eat bad and eat the garbage, you'll be unhealthy. You cannot out exercise a bad diet. Now, a lot of times we grow up with the ideas when we're young, if I exercise really hard, I'll get away with it. When you're in your 20s, you probably can fool yourself into believing that because your metabolism is higher, the muscle content's higher, you're burning calories, and you'll say, see, as long as I exercise and work hard on my exercise, I can do whatever I want. Well, the problem is you're not going to stay that age forever, as I found out, okay? You are going to age. So we have to understand what we do today is going to affect us later. What I did as a kid in the Air Force, in the Army and Air Force, affected me because I threw caution to the wind because I believed that I would never be overweight. I would never be sick because I was going to exercise and work out. And once I got married and had kids and everything, things changed. Okay? I didn't exercise as nearly as much as I should. I didn't have the time, didn't have the patience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I ballooned up to 250 pounds and was told, you're not going to live. Oh, hark. Okay? So understand, we have to have it all. You have to do it all. So again, I like to use analogies. You can't have a job and say, as long as I show up, I keep my job. No, you got to show up. You got to do your job. You got to learn the new things. You have to fall in line with the company policy. You've got to do it all in order to keep it. Okay. So again, think of that with your health. You've got to do it all. Inadequate diet. Okay, again, just an idea. In 2017 stats, they came out in 2018, the 42.4% of all American adults are obese. Okay, and that the prevalence of obesity affected about 13.7 million children and adolescents aged 2 to 19. That's unbelievable. Think about that. If those kids are obese, what's going to happen later on in their lives? What's going to happen to us? Okay, those are the people that's going to supposed to take care of us when we get old and need help. Okay, but those people are going to be less healthy than we are when we need the help. An inadequate diet leads to all those things you see, and I probably don't need to call them all out, but hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, coronary, renal failure, strokes, gallbladder disorders, osteoporosis, respiratory issues, and cancer. Now, if we say to ourselves, I don't care. I don't care what I eat. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, that's fair. But just understand that if you do that, those are the kind of things you're facing which is much more prevalent than if you take care of yourself. If you don't care if you get those or put yourself at a higher risk, fine. It's just like the person driving a car that doesn't wear a seatbelt. You want to, as far as I'm concerned, you don't care. Why should anybody else? All right. But as long as you're educated and you understand the risks, then my job is done to tell people and show them what can happen by not taking care of yourself. Okay. I personally want to live to an older age, but I want to be healthy. So therefore, my thought is I'm going to do the things I can do to try to prevent these things that you're seeing there. Does not mean that none of those could ever happen, but the odds are much less. So the person wearing the seatbelt, there's no guarantee that if you were in an accident that you're going to live it, but your chances are much greater if you do. The immune system, we've talked about this before, but the body is a great system of checks and balances. It balances everything. And those of you who do our Zyto scans have seen what your body is and the biomarkers that are in range, out of range, and what happens when we have a weakened immune system, how much more is out of range, how many more organs are stressed or don't have energy. And when that happens, your body cannot destroy the viruses, the bacteria, all the things that we breathe and we eat, and by just toxins that enter our body through cleaning products, et cetera, it can't protect you from it because it doesn't have the strength and energy. So then it becomes a domino effect. Infections become more frequent. You have a greater likelihood of being sick. You've got a much greater risk of cancer. And cancer is the thing that we all fear. I understand that, but it is not an inevitable thing, regardless of what your family's had, anything, it's not inevitable. So we can fight our way through and stay well if we do all the things that we need to do. We talk about this subject a lot, and I'm talking about it tonight because we talk about change, stress. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't have stress. That would be idiotic, okay? But what I'm going to tell you is you have to work on your stress just like you have to work on what you eat. You have to work on stress the same way as you work on just taking care of yourself. If you learn to take care of yourself, your stress will decrease because you'll feel better. And when we feel better because we eat better and we exercise and we're around the positive people rather than negative people, your stress will diminish because it's about how you handle it. All right? People that hold on to anger, especially anger, will inevitably end up with anxiety, okay? Heart rate, bouts of depression, and so many other psychological issues. A lot of our depression is lifestyle. It is the way we treat ourselves, the way we look at ourselves, the way we allow other people to look at us, okay? If people, whether it's family, friends, anybody, coworkers, doesn't treat you the way they treat their best friends and family, well, I shouldn't say that because we know sometimes people don't treat their family too well, but then you got to stay away from them. You cannot let other people's immaturity or bad habits affect you. Stay away, ignore, but don't carry. If there's something that's happened with somebody or somebody did something, let it go. Because anger, especially anger, and when we do the Zytos, emotions are just all over the map for people right now. And they're carrying anger and they're having anxiety and fear and depression. I mean, it's staggering what's happening to us mentally. And I know when we're down mentally, we don't take care of ourselves, okay? And that is something, so we have to work on this component very, very hard. And that's why we do the Zytos and the Evoxes and all that thing, to try to help people pull themselves out and realize that it can be different. Because mental health is so important to our physical health. But we got to feed it right. We got to give the right fuel to our body in order to fuel the brain, as well as we do the heart and the lungs and the kidneys, etc.
I have a question,
Sure.
Linda. So with COVID and being at home more, I'm finding it hard to maintain the 3 days only in your refrigerator, or, you know, before you consume it. So is there any suggestions you can give me? Because I don't want to go out after 3 days. And I know I can freeze things, but
Right, so that rule is for cooked food. So, I mean, fresh foods, you know, as long as you can keep them, as long as they're still fresh, you know, there's a sell-by date. But it's the cooked foods that we want you to eat within 3 days.
I literally have been doing it with every single thing that I've been consuming, that it can't be more than 3 days old.
Oh, okay, no.
No, not fruit, not your raw vegetables. That's only cooked food.
Okay, good to
Okay?
know.
Does that make it a little easier? Yes, your head of lettuce is fine, okay? Don't worry about that. All right, so it's cooked food, freeze it if you need to, or only cook enough just for that 1 or 2 meals, and then, you know, you might cook a little bit more, but you're cooking smaller.
Right.
Okay, sleep. Please understand you got to get sleep. You know, people that don't get enough sleep will suffer mentally and physically. So people that slept less than 7 hours per night were more likely to have a higher average body mass indexes, means they're heavier, develop obesity, etc. People that sleep less than 5 hours, I can't imagine that. The times I've ever have, it's just miserable the next day. So you have to get sleep. And if somebody is out there that says, I don't need more than 3, 4, 6 hours sleep, you are only fooling yourself. That's it. You're not fooling anybody else. You're fooling yourself. Your body needs to rejuvenate. It needs to re-energize itself, and it does it by sleep. And when we talk about sleep, and we talk about eating, we talk about supplementation, we talk about exercise, all this stuff means that in reality, to put it in a nutshell, you cannot cure diseases. You have to prevent diseases. Okay? Think about that. You cannot cure them. Medicine will never tell you they can't cure them. They can suppress them. You have to prevent. And if you've already abused yourself and you need help, you've got to get on it sooner than later. Putting it off, I'm going to wait until this or that, you're only hurting yourself. So the things we've talked about, sleep, exercise, proper eating, change in thinking about how you feel about yourself, those are all preventions, okay? So that you don't get the diseases. And the earlier you find out that you have a problem, the earlier you address it and start changing it, the greater ability you have to winning that battle, okay? That is how we take care of ourselves. It says by the time we reach, and this is Dr. Oz, the age 50, 3/4 of our health can be determined by lifestyle. That's the good news. So how healthy we are is largely up to us, okay? It's up to us. We can be healthy or we can be unhealthy. Which road is the easiest? Anybody want to say which road is easier?
Unhealthy.
Unhealthy. It's easier. Why? Why is it easier to be unhealthy? Because the masses go that way. All the advertisements are, I've said this many times before. Tell me the last time you saw a commercial for eating a nice fresh salad. Okay? I haven't, but there's a lot about the burgers. There's a lot of them about hot dogs. There's a lot of them about beer. There's a lot of them about chips, Doritos. I mean, they got all kinds of commercials about Doritos, but then they follow them up with commercials about medication. Okay, so if we kind of put things together, if you eat this way, I guess that's why they have the commercials for medications, because you're going to need them, all right, in order to try to bring back your health. So think about it from that perspective, that the good health is our choice, but bad health is our choice too. It's our choice. And don't tell me you're going to go down the middle of the road. I get that sometimes. You know what? I'm going to be better, but not, I'm just going to kind of be half and half. I don't think you can be half and half. Can you be half and half married? Can you be half and half religious? Can you be half and half anything? No. Okay? Get out of the middle of the road. Either go one way or the other. Okay? Do it or don't. But it's up to you. It's up to me for myself. And it's not up to you for your family. It's not up to you for your friends. It's up to you for you. It's up to me for me. I can't make Patty healthy and she can't make me healthy. Okay? At all. So remember that. Nobody's going to make you healthy or convince you. It's you. So the 3 ingredients, okay, is to change or for a new behavior to happen. First of all, you have to want it. I had to want it. And then I had to know how. And sometimes knowing how is hard, because how many people send me ingredients and say, can I have this? And I look at it and I go, no, because of this. And they go, wow, I didn't even think of that. Yes, because we don't know. And that you need experts to show you how. And then you have to have the opportunity. We all know that we have the opportunity. The people are on this Zoom. You have the opportunity, okay, to do whatever it takes to change. Every one of us, and I'll just speak for myself, everybody on this Zoom has my personal cell. You can call me. You can ask me questions. You can question. I don't care. It's fine. But my job is to give you the opportunity to do whatever it is that you need to do to change your health, your beliefs about taking care of yourself. But remember, look to the right of your screen. You cannot become what you want to be by remaining what you are. And again, I hope you read that a couple times. We cannot become what we want to be by remaining what we are. If we could, we'd already be what we wanted to be, right? Now, if somebody says, well, I want to be overweight, I want to be sick, I want to be on medications, okay, then I guess you can remain what you are, but you're not going to stay there. You're just going to keep getting worse. If you start improving, you're not going to stay there. You're going to keep getting better. Okay. So steps, keep a healthy BMI and fat percentage. Okay, that's why I love it when people come in and get on the Tanita machine. Number 2, eat veggies every day. Fruits, once in a while, not all the time, but veggies every single day, because vegetables heals, fruits cleanse. Number 3, schedule your scans. See what your body needs. Your body can need different things all the time. Keep your numbers low, your blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar. Keep them low. Exercise. I told somebody on the phone the other day, I don't remember who it is, that I said, you know what? If you have stairs in your house, okay, it's cold, it's icy, whatever. If you have stairs, walk up and down the stairs 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times continuously. Somebody said, well, I go up and down there, for this and that during the day. Nope. Exercise means you do it for a period of time. Just walk up and down the stairs. Doesn't have to sprint, doesn't have to run hard. Get your cardiovascular up. If you got light weights or you've got jugs of water, pick them up. Move for 15 minutes, okay? Do something like that. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to be nice outside and risk falling on the ice. There's many things we can do. Sleep. Get your sleep. Okay. And that isn't 6 hours of sleep. Okay. It's a minimum 8 hours sleep. Good, solid sleep. Challenge your mind. Read, board games, but not in front of the TV or on your phone. Those games do not stimulate the brain, okay? Mental exercise is just as important as physical exercise. It decreases the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. Number 8, decrease and try to eliminate your stress, okay? Erase some of the stressors in your life, whether it's people, circumstances, etc. Erase it. Remove them if you have to. Number 9, stay social. Now, I know the pandemic, we're locked up a lot of people, okay? But stay connected. Call people on the phone. Talk to them. Don't hibernate, okay? That causes depression, okay? Then we start not liking ourselves because that's all we see is ourselves, all right? Do the things and stay social. When I stay social, I'm not talking Facebook. I'm talking to people, all right? Number 10, don't use addictive substances. And addictive substances includes sugar. Don't smoke. Don't drink in excess. Don't take across the counters just because you have a headache or you don't feel well. Let your body do what it's supposed to do. The good Lord made a wonderful machine. We just have not maybe treated it the way we're supposed to. Okay? So, what step have you reached? I won't, I can't, I want to. How? Okay, I'll try it. Have you reached a level where you said, I can? And hopefully you reach the level, I will. If you haven't already gotten to the point, I did it. And I'm going to stay on top of that mountain. There is nobody going to push me back down those steps, okay? I am going to stay feeling good, looking good, mentally, physically, feeling good. Which step are you? I hope you're not in the bottom, at least the bottom half, okay? If you are, you need to call me. We need to get a Zyto. We need to sit down and have a heart-to-heart, and all of you know I don't mince words, okay? I'll tell you what you need to do. If you don't like it, that's your prerogative. But I will never sugarcoat it, and I will never tell you that you're okay if you're not. Right, Maureen? Right. So make a commitment. I talked earlier about commitment. I talked about cultivating, communicating, and celebrating, okay? Make a commitment to your personal transformation. Stay loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. How many people say, I'm going to exercise, and then you strap on the tennis shoes and like, you know what? Yeah, but I didn't know it was going to be snowing out. I didn't know it was going to be cold. I didn't know I was not going to sleep that well, etc. Okay? Commit to yourself, and to commit means you have to love yourself. And you better love yourself as much or more than you love anything else in this world, with exception maybe of God. Okay? Love yourself. I'll go back to this. The way you think is the way you feel. The way you feel is the way you act. The way you act is the way you think. And we can go round and around and around, okay? So start thinking right. Start thinking about how good you are and how you have to take care of yourself. Yesterday, I spoke with a lady. We talked about this, and she just said, I can't get motivated. I just can't. I know I should, etc. I said, I don't like myself, etc. I said, well, why don't you like yourself? Because I'm being good to myself. I don't eat right. I don't, etc. I said, okay, you have 3 kids. If your kids told you that they didn't like themselves and they didn't want to take care of themselves, what would you do? I said, I would tell them whatever they needed for help, I would do it for them. I said, bingo. Now you have to do that for yourself. You have to think about yourself the way you would your children and love them. You love them to death, but that means you have to love yourself. So you have to think positive about yourself, to feel that you're worth it, to take the action that is necessary to get there. And then you'll start thinking better about yourself. And of course, feeling better, then you'll start acting better. And around it goes. So nobody changes until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Again, it hurts to change sometimes, but you have to do it if you want the results. Thank you. I hope you learned something or got something out of it. I'd like to open it up, ask questions. Anything you have a question on, I'll answer. I'll do whatever I can. Who's first? Heather, I like that hat. Okay, don't everybody be bashful. That's come on.
Hey,
Yeah.
John,
Yes.
what's the best way to get yourself motivated enough to do exercise? Like every night I go to sleep going, I'm going to get up in the morning and start today. And then I wake up in the morning and I'm like, either a phone call comes or something comes and I just don't dedicate myself enough to it. And there's probably not a good answer to that except just do it. But
Okay, no,
I'm
there's
wondering if there's a trick that you've come across.
Okay, why, when you think that you got to get up in the morning and exercise, what is in your mind? Why are you thinking you need to exercise?
Well, because the muscle tone for me, it's the fact that muscle tone's starting to definitely take a toll on because I haven't been exercising.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to suggest. Take a sheet of paper and write muscle tone in big capital letters. Put it
Okay.
when you wake up in the morning and you wake up and you go, okay, exercise, I wanted to see those words, muscle tone, and that'll motivate you. Because earlier we talked about, you got to say, what is the reason that I want to do whatever it is I'm going to do? For you, you want to exercise to improve your muscle tone. But when you wake up in the morning, you're not thinking about muscle tone. What are you thinking about? Oh, do I really want to go out and exercise? Do I really want to do this now? Okay. But you got to have something to bring you back to what you were thinking the night before. And that is your muscle tone. For me, it might be my belly. Okay. I need to exercise to make my belly smaller. I don't know. All right. For somebody else, it might be because I have trouble breathing and I need that. But that's what you got to focus on. It's different for every single person. But for you, it's muscle tone. So put that somewhere. Okay. And
Okay.
then, so
All right.
you get ready to put those tennis shoes on or whatever it is, you see that. And then it's going to bring you back full circle, because our brain has a tendency to forget easily, because it's kind of like, yeah, I know I need to, but, and then when it's time, we just kind of forget. And that also goes with people that say, I just eat things that I shouldn't. Well, you got to make why, when you know you shouldn't eat certain things, why? Okay. And if you get acid reflux because you eat certain foods, then write acid reflux somewhere, put it on your refrigerator door. People say, why in the heck do you have acid reflux on your refrigerator door? Well, it doesn't matter why you have it. If it helps you, it doesn't matter to those people. All right. But when you get ready to open up that bread drawer, you're going to think acid reflux rather than, oh, I want a sandwich. Okay. Now, I'm not directing this at any one particular person, Maureen, but
no.
I see you laughing. Okay. Because right, Maureen, we've talked about this before with you, right? Maureen had terrible, terrible acid reflux where she would throw up, but yet she wanted a sandwich. Well, when the brain said, I want the sandwich, she'd forget about the acid reflux. So if you post that and people say, well, how can you forget that? Oh, it's easy. When you're addicted to something, it's easy to forget the ramifications. All right. You have to bring it so your brain comes back and says, ooh, okay. So, I would say that somebody says, I wake up in the morning, I don't want to go to work. Well, write rent. Okay, a mortgage payment, I don't know, that might make you get to work. All right, so whatever it takes to trigger, that's all that matters. And if people say, well, that's dumb, you know what, be dumb, I don't care. You know what, if it helps me and gets me in shape and gets my muscle tone right, keeps me from having acid reflux, for me, helps me sleep better, hey, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I just want to feel good, I want to look good, all that good stuff. All right. Who else has a question? Okay, the new people. Let's, Judith, what do you have for a question? Come on now. Kaushal? Okay. Sorry, what?
No, I'm saying I don't have a question at the moment.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have a question? I know I either didn't explain it well enough or I explained it so well you have no questions. One or the other. What is it?
I kind of do have,
What?
sorry, I do kind of have a question.
Sure.
So my kids have the habit of eating in the car because they get home, they get in from school and they're hungry immediately. I start bringing those drinks, the what are they called? The drinks you guys sell.
The instant meal?
Instant meals.
Yeah, the instant meal. Is that okay that that's become a habit? Because those are, you know, it's definitely a habit to drink those in the car.
Well, as long as it doesn't lead to other things, I mean, is there a reason why they do it in the car and don't wait till they get home?
It's a long drive home from school, so. And I don't
Okay.
want to get too close to dinner time, so I try and get them their quote unquote snack early.
Okay. I mean, that's a very good snack because it's high protein, low glycemic. It can help to curb appetite for sugars and stuff at dinner time, those kind of things. And I'm not saying it's good because you buy the instant meals here. I don't want you to think that, okay? But that's a good snack. But, you know, if it creates a problem, them spilling or something like that, it might be a different story. But if they're going to eat something, that would be the thing to eat. All right. So you just don't want to get in a habit of every time you get the kids in the car, you got to stop somewhere and get something to eat. You want to avoid that. But if that's the only thing they eat in the car, I couldn't think of a better thing to eat. Okay. Who else? Mary, do you have a question? Mary's.
I'm trying to think of one.
Well, Mary started a program with Candida. I don't know if she wants to tell the story, but she can if she wants to. Probably not, huh, Mary?
Well, I've been fighting Candida for a very long time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
one time I was told, I went to my practitioner's office and, after months and months, well, a year, maybe more, of treatment, oh yeah, it's gone. So I said, yay, Candida's gone. And I've been suppressing my desire for Dunkin' Donuts chai tea for way over a year or more. So it's all gone. So yay, on the way home, I'm having some. Well, that's what happened the very next day. Hello,
Yeah.
Candida's back.
Yeah. 'Cause you
And the
never-
battle continues.
Now, Mary called me one day after she started a few days in, and she was all happy because, can I tell them why you were happy?
Sure.
She was eliminating parasites. Okay. And parasites can cause all kinds of trouble in our body, and we don't even know we have them. Okay. And that's one reason people get sick and they stay sick. And she was so happy that she was eliminating them. And we laugh about it, but it's a real thing. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that you get rid of them. Okay. So Mary's been a real trooper. Way to go, Mary. So
Thanks. We got to continue the fight
yep,
because
Mary.
sometimes they can be relentless.
Yep.
Sometimes they have a way of rebounding.
Well,
So
yep, if you keep
you
eating right.
can't get
doing the
in, not for a
right thing.
minute.
Okay, who else has a question? Anybody? Georgiana, you look like you're getting ready to ask a question.
I heard one time, if you drink a lot of water before you eat, the water can dilute all the enzymes that you have in your stomach so that digestion is a little more difficult. Do you think that's a true statement?
It's true. It's best not to drink a lot of water while you're eating, not before eating. Okay. During the meal, it's better not to drink a lot of water because it can flush out some of the digestive enzymes, but not before. It's actually good to drink water before because it actually fills you up and it's easier not to eat too much.
Mhm.
Okay.
I heard one time that animals don't eat and drink at the same time. So that kind of, like, I think of deer going down in the evening to drink in the lake, the water in the lake, versus they eat all day long and then they go down to the lake and drink water. They don't eat and drink at the same time.
Correct. Absolutely. Yep. You're exactly right. So a lot of times they'll drink and then a little bit later they'll eat. So it goes back and forth. That is correct. So eating and drinking at the same time is not the best thing. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to ask a question. I'd like to get a response. What topic would you like to hear about next month? Anybody have any ideas? Don't everybody speak at once.
Heather's
Heather.
tentatively, gingerly raising her hand.
How about the eat right for your blood type?
Been there,
That
done
sounds
that.
like a good one, right?
That was your suggestion when you
missed
no-showed
out.
on us. Okay, who else would have an idea? We can combine a couple of ideas sometimes. Anybody else?
Is there something new that Melise is working on as far as supplements or training or new diagnostic imaging or?
No, not that I am aware of at this point. No new products that I know. They have not at least told us. No, not really that I know of. For those of you who haven't done our Zytos or Evoxes, that is something that we could bring in that helps with the mental imaging and health. We could talk a little bit about that, I suppose.
Yeah, I was actually, sorry, John, I was actually going to say something about that too. How effective the Evox has been for people, but you have all those testimonials on your wall. And unfortunately, we're not meeting in person. Is it possible to do some sort of a testimonial thing the next time too? That might be helpful for those people who are new.
Sure. That's a good idea. I worked with a lady today. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to talk a little bit about it. Okay. That's a good idea. Anybody else? Crystal, I thought you had your hand up.
What about the effect of technology on our health? Different forms of technology or even products that we use on our health?
Okay. Yep, that's a good start. So we can talk about that. My producer here is we're making notes on that. So, and our next class is on March 19th. So you know, mark your calendars. And the other thing is,